Hello, welcome to Business Law course. This is me Sujana speaking. And our topic for this session is finance law. In this topic, we are going to talk about the legal aspect of the financing activities. Financing is one of business activities that familiar in the society's life. In this course, we are going to talk about several subtopics. This video you are watching will focus on the definition and the concept of finance law. Further, we are going to continue this topic by speaking and discussing about classification of finance activities as well as the financing institution in Indonesia. There will be 6 specific topics to elaborate more about the classification. Even though I'm telling you here that actually the financing activities in Indonesia is more than just 6 kind of activities, but those 6 activities we will find in the videos are the common one that is used by the Indonesian society and company. So, I hope you focus and spend enough time to understand about this topic. As your additional sources, I suggest you to find related books about this topic. Finance law is talking about the legal aspect of financing activity. At the previous meeting, we have discussed about banking law, which is also an institution that can do the financing activities. In Indonesia, we recognize 2 classifications of financing activities. One is bank financing activities, and the second one is non-banking financing activities. Here we can see the difference is based on the institution that do the financing activities. If the financing is done by a bank, so it's called banking activities. You remember that I explained you about credit in banking. It's also a kind of financing activities which is conducted by the bank. Here we are talking about the financing activities that conducted by non-banking institution. For the first part, before we continuing the definition and the concept, I need to tell you that maybe you will find some difficulty in finding the sources when we're talking about finance law here. Well, it's been happened since a few years ago, since I taught business law. My students told me that they hard to find sources in finance law, whether it's from internet or from the book, especially when they use the English to find the references. It is normal because sometimes it's hard to differentiate between finance law and financial law. If you try to find sources from media, from internet or from book, mostly you will be stuck to the sources of financial law. Here I'm telling that financial law is different with finance law. Financial law is more talking about the principle of finance. So you're talking about how to do the financing based on the principle of economy when we talk about financial law. It's talking about the principles, the core idea of finance. On the other hand, when we talk about finance law here, we are talking about activities in form of providing funds or capital goods. It's quite similar with bank. Once again, the difference is based on the institution that conduct the financing activities. If it is bank, then it is banking. It's under the supervision of Bank Indonesia as the central bank. Otherwise, it must be another kind of financing activities, which is non-banking activities, that is conducted by non-bank institution. What are non-banking institutions? You will find out later. And those activities of non-banking financing institution is under the supervision of Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, or in Indonesia we call it OJK. To conclude this understanding of definition, I want you to make sure that you understand what is the difference between banking and finance here. So the main difference is at the institution. If it is from the bank, so it is banking. If it is non-bank, so it's non-banking financing institution. Why does someone or a party need to be funded? There are two main reasons. First, it's because there are lack of money or capital. For example, if you want to buy a motorcycle, but your money is not enough to buy it, you can go to the bank institution or non-bank institution and propose for some fundraise. So here you can get the fundraise to support you in fulfill your personal need. So in this case, you need fundraise for your personal consumption. Second, usually, especially in business, actually the businessmen already have enough money to do their business, but they still want to expand it. Even they want to develop it abroad or overseas. So they want to find additional money, additional capital to realize their dream to be the best in the sector of business they are involved in. So here, the finance activities is a good option and also contribute to the development of economy, because using this system, a party or someone or a company, they can get additional money or capital to develop their idea. Thus, from this kind of background and situation, we can determine that in finance activities, at least we recognize two parties. Actually, this is quite equal with the banking system, that we recognize the debtor and the creditor. In case of banking, the bank would be the creditor and the customer would be the debtor. If the fundraise is got from the financing institution, which is non-bank, then the financing institution would be the creditor and the customer here will be the debtor. So here we can find the definition of financing institution is a corporate body engaged in financing activities in the form of providing funds or capital goods. Funds here is just like the first story I told you about the consumer consumption. But the capital goods here are goods that used for business. It's related to the second reason of why a party is need a Vandres that I've mentioned before. Based on Article 2 Presidential Regulation number 9 2009, which I suggest you to open this regulation during you learning from this video, the law has regulated that there are at least 3 types of financing institution. First one is financing company. The second one is venture capital company. And the third one is infrastructure financing company. Those 3 sub-ideas are the part that we are going to discuss further. And it's also in accordance to the previous part when I told you that we are going to identify several classifications of the financing institution. According to Article 1, number 2, financing company is a corporate body specifically set up to engage in leasing, factoring, consumer finance, and or credit card. I'm sure that maybe some of you are not familiar with all of those kind of financing company. Maybe some of you just recognize credit card, or perhaps another of you also recognize leasing. But factoring and consumer finance may be not quite familiar for you. That's why I suggest you to find reference book to help you, to guide you to understand about this. And also, those kind of classification I will explain you at the continuation of this part. So you have to learn all of the video regarding this course to understand the topic in total. This would be the end of the first part. So I hope you prepare all the resources you need, the book and the regulation, to help you to understand our coming topics at the next videos. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you understand it well. Thank you.